So for the wedging, cut it in half, smack it, stack it, smack it, and then you make a log. So you push forward and your hands are like cupping it, so it makes this shape. And you don't push so hard that you flatten it completely. You pick it up 45 degrees, push down, and you end up with this almost like a tongue. And then you do that a few times, and then you slow it down. And then you end up with kind of a, I guess, pastry. And then you start picking it up 45 degrees, rotating it about 10 degrees. So you pick up 45, rotate 10, pick up 45, rotate 10, pick up 45, rotate 10, and you do that about 20 times. And you end up with this cone, and as you go, you start slowing down once you start hitting 20. And you end up with this like cone-shaped thing. And the reason why I do this is that it wedges more of the clay, and it also makes it perfect for putting it on the potter's wheel, which you won't do unless you really want to. And it's extra, so like it would be like extra credit or something like that. All right. And then for the handle, it's also good because I need, I need this weird shape. And then you gotta turn it into, I don't know, what would you call this? What is this shape? It's like a, all right. And then now I'm gonna make a mess, so you gotta go through where the sink is. So you might all need to come where the sink is. So there's like, this is bone dry, where it's almost white. And this is almost bone dry, but not quite. And this is just a little bit past plastic where it's getting a little bit too dry to manipulate. Like if you manipulate it now, it cracks. Like it's a little bit drier than the one that I have, and that was in my bag. So to make slit, all you do is get some dry clay, break it up. There's a little scraping tools here, so you can scrape the table. And again, you don't want to make like clouds of dust. Like I said earlier, like when I went home yesterday, yesterday, I was sort of okay. But then when I rode my bike, tried to go pantless, I had to go super slow because I couldn't breathe for beams. I couldn't breathe. I was all clogged up. But then I cleaned my nose out with the that wash, the saline wash. And
like a
then I felt
neti
better.
pot?
Yeah, the hot pot. Yeah, the pot. Wait, how do you say it?
Neti pot?
Neti pot, yeah. Except I used the squeeze bottle thing instead. Like I never tried the neti pot. I just use the squeeze thing. And it shoves the nose thing up your nose and then comes out the other side there. It's I think it's better than Benadryl because it actually cleans out your insides. And Benadryl just takes care of the issues. Okay, so and this is full of yeah. So if you have any clay dust around, you can collect it and make slit, which is muddy clay. And so I have some water here. Just add it in there, and eventually it'll kind of dissolve. Oh, I put too much. Oh well. Right. Then, so I'll do a review of the wedging. So maybe we can pause that or stop it, I have, and that was in my bag. So to make slit, all you do is get some dry clay, break it up. There's a little scraping tools here, so you can scrape the table. And again, you don't want to make like clouds of dust. Like I said earlier, like when I went home yesterday, yesterday, I was sort of okay. But then when I rode my bike, to try to go pantless, I had to go super slow because I couldn't breathe for beans. I couldn't breathe. I was all clogged up. But then I cleaned my nose out with the that wash, the saline wash. And
Like a
then I felt
neti
better.
pot?
Yeah, the hot pot. Yeah, the pot. Wait, what do you say?
Neti pot?
Neti pot, yeah. Except I used the squeeze bottle thing instead. Like I never tried the neti pot. I just use the squeeze thing. And it shoves the thing up your nose and then comes out the other side there. It's like, I think it's better than Benadryl because it actually cleans out your insides. And Benadryl just takes care of the issues. Okay, so I know this is full of yeah, so if you have any clay dust around, you can collect it and make slit, which is muddy clay. So I have some water here. Just add it in there. And eventually it'll kind of dissolve. Oh, I put too much. Oh well. Right. Then, so I'll do a review of the wedging. So maybe we can pause that or stop it. And you can hold it for a while. And you get a thing of water. Now I haven't done this in a long time. So if I screw up, oh well. And then, yeah. So this is the traditional way of pulling a handle. And then you kind of rotate it. This is actually a little hard to do. And you might end up with the ugly part, like I'm getting an ugly part right there. But you just break that part off. Okay, after you get kind of a good length and a good shape, then you can start like shaping it to be whatever you want it to be. Can you guys see from back there? No! Oh my God! Although I know it's socially distant, so maybe you gotta watch the video later. God dang. Alright, so I got it to be kind of the shape. So I'm gonna use my thumb to like make the part where you would actually rest your thumb on the wheel. So you gotta picture what part of your hand is gonna touch it, and then try to match it. And whoever's got the same size hand, or slightly smaller hand than you, will probably enjoy that cup really well because it's gonna fit their hand. So if you got tiny hands, it's gonna be your kid for a little while. All right. So anyway, because the clay, like I said before, shrinks like 10%. Yeah. I think I forgot something important, like the needle, but it's right behind me. So this is going to end up being a little bit wide. But like I said, it's going to shrink like 10%. I'm going to cut this off. So this I'll just recycle it because it's too wet to use now. So when it's too wet to use, there's a big bucket over there that you can put wet clay in. So you can stick it in that one. If it's too dry, there's a bag full of dry clay. Put it in there. And then try not to get it mixed up. And then you can start curving it. And then now I have a handle. Then I'll just cut off whatever part I want. You know? I'd probably trim off a little bit of this and cut off this, and then I can add that to the cup. And I would just kind of let it dry and curve up. Like I think I just want like it would be like a fat on one end, and then this would be a very small handle for a relatively small cup. And it'd be the wide kind, yeah. Like I could make it narrower if I wanted to. And it will get narrower because it's going to shrink. And then if I wanted it to cut it nice, I'll find the handle. Okay. And I would just cut it with a needle or a knife. It could be like there's a specific knife for like, oh, here it is. A fettling knife, which is like specific to ceramics. Yeah. And then let's see what else. I think that's it for that part. And then I'll show you how to roll a coil next, because that's for the foot. Okay, so you can go back. Okay, so here's Rocco. He is trimming his lip to make it even by using a needle tool and slowly
This is a good change from having
penetrating into the cup.
8 a.m.
This would be slightly easier if it was exactly in the middle of the thing, of the, and if it was, well, actually the cup's pretty circular. This is the same technique you would use if you had if you put on the potter's wheel. Oh, maybe I should show you how to do that later. Oh, there he goes. He managed to go all the way through in one section.
I think it's off. Oh, no.
I'm a bad cinematographer.
Okay.
And you can. Oops.
What?
And then you can do what Taylor is doing, where she's smoothing out the lip with moistened fingers with a sponge. So that's probably the next step that Rocco's got to do. So it's so convenient that she's doing it right there. And then, so any mud that you put on the table makes the spot useless for the next person until it dries.
I didn't do that. It wasn't me.
So that's one way here to smooth out the lip and make it really nice.
Would you like this?
Yes, please.
And I think we can stop. So just make a sausage. And then, I guess it's easier standing up. And then when you roll it out, you use your entire hand, like a whole bunch of fingers. I'm mostly using the fingers here. God, I can't see my own hand. Okay. And then as I squish the clay, I'm rolling it. And if it feels like it's lumpy, that means you're putting uneven pressure. And you have to go back and forth. And if you put more pressure on one side than the other side, it's going to end up being uneven. But that might be good if you want it to be uneven. And by the way, we're going to have to make lots and lots of these, like hundreds of feet of them, to make the next assignment, the next big project anyway, which is a coil pot. But right now we're just trying to make a foot. And I'm getting lumpy, so I know I did this junky. Like one part's lumpy and one part's not. And I didn't clean the table good enough, and I'm getting junk stuck in it. So you can kind of see that happening a little bit. All right. And so if you want it to be a little flat, which I do, you can kind of squish it. You can also use a rolling pin, which I didn't bring, but this is an adequate rolling pin. You can roll it out. And that's also the next technique we'd have to learn is like how to make a slab, which is basically the same as this. Okay. And then you would feel this compared to your cup and go like, oh, that's close. Or, oh, it's the wrong size. That's too fat. So. Okay, then once you have more than enough, you can add it to the bottom of your cup.
You left your own Zoom.
Oh, I left my own Zoom?
Yeah.
How do you add wherever you want the foot to be? So you kind of just curve it on there. You go, oh, I need that much. So you can cut off the ugly part. Oh, that one's better. What if mine is uglier than the student's one? It's not going to be good, yeah?
You're the one who gives the grades.
No, like, what if the professors see that the student's work is like better than my work, and then they're gonna go, why did we hire this guy?
They're not gonna fire
Really
you.
good teacher. Yeah, really good teacher.
Oh, okay. See, that's what you gotta learn how to do, how to BS so that you can get a good grade.
How do you think we made it here?
You said you had like a junky grade the other time, and you said you had to pay for something or something.
I didn't pay for anything.
Oh, okay. That was just joking then. Okay, good. All right. So I got it about the right size now. Then you kind of mark it with, oh, that's too big. I'm going to cut it smaller. Nah, kind of.
No.
Oh. All right. So then you kind of mark it with some kind of sharp tool. And I think this would be easier if I had that rotating thing. I'm gonna get a rotating thing. Score with like either a needle, or if you're lazy, you can use a fork. So you just score it up. This is a lot of videos and stuff to be making. And apparently I went off the kilter, so.
Taylor, what?
It's a heart.
And then you score the bottom of the foot. So ideally, the cup would be leather hard. So right now, my cup is on the edge of leather hard. It's not super leather hard yet. It's like still semi-plastic. And you should actually know all these like terminologies I'm spitting out. Yeah, plastic is when the clay is like right out of the bag, unless your bag was like left for like years and it's all dried up now. Like since the clay I had at home, I had it for like so long. Okay, so this is slip. It's muddy clay. So it took like an hour to get all to that grossness, to kind of even out. You kind of just smuck it on all there. And then some over here. And if you want to be super anal, go like that. stick it on there. So, and I forgot the other tool. Shoot. And you get like some kind of tool to help blend. If you don't want to, you can use your fingers too. And that's the ugly part, that I kind of gotta hide it a little bit. And you just kind of blend away any joints you don't want it to be obvious. You can just blend it away. If you want it to be an obvious joint, you can leave it. If you did a good job with the slipping and scoring, you don't have to like work as hard. So now this is called welding, when you squish the two clay together. So just like when you're welding metals, same thing. You're actually kind of squishing them together.
Do it. I'm just gonna work on putting my head. I can put the handle on my other cup, right?
Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, you can have as many cups as you want. You could have like one with a foot, one with a carved foot, and one with a handle, and you don't have to be all in the same one.
Oh.
Because it's more like learning the technique than it is like having it all combined. And now I gotta let that dry because it's kind of all goodgy. Do the inside.
Do you score the handle too?
Yes. And then, shoots, I need a different tool. Maybe this is better. And can I borrow the sponge, please? Thank you. And then if it's too wet, take some of the water out. Alright. So now, with any luck, this handle's decent for this cup. And then, so I'm going to add the handle while I'm waiting for that to get a little bit drier. And so, let's see, cut it to what I think is good, which I hope is literally good. Well, that's ended up being a little bit tinier than I wanted it to be. Well, that's a tiny handle for like a... All right. So you kind of kiss it on there. It'll kind of just stay. Like I usually try to keep the handle from like actually being past the lip, so that when you turn it over to dry or whatever, it doesn't like damage the handle. But for artistic purposes, you could have it go past. I want it to be a little bit. Shoot. I wonder if I can get a little longer. Let's see. See if I can just a little longer. better. Okay. Yeah, so sometimes if you screw it up, you can recover. So slip and score. Slip and score. And kiss it on there. And then slip and score the part that's all bust up looking. Add more slick. Stick it on. Oops, I stabbed it by accident. And then if you're not happy with it, like I'm still not happy, so I'm probably gonna cut this off. But I'm just gonna finish what I got so that we have something. Smooth it out. Oh, stop. And then just you go around and weld it together as best you can. Find a tool that fits good.
Did you throw it away?
Sometimes you can use a sponge. So you kind of get some.
Can I borrow that slip?
Oh yeah, sure. And I think that's about it.